everybody. My name is Ben Petty. Today we're going to be talking about Microsoft Excel pivot tables. Pivot tables are a great way to take a large amount of Microsoft Excel table data, so like one singular table or tab within Excel, and then move it around or use the data in there to find things in common. It's really great where you have categories of information or where you have numbers are very helpful because really what it's trying to do is it's trying to either count the number of things or summarize the number of things. You can even average numbers. But really, let's just get into it because that's probably the best thing to do. So let's get into the our petty manufacturing uh, spreadsheet here where I have fictitious data. I have production logs. This is the number of widgets produced. I have three different widgets produced and how many widgets were produced in an hour over a 3 month period of time. These are our fictitious customers, our fictitious orders, and our, I think I have like 200 employees. Nope, 49 employees. Two different spreadsheets with that, but I used VLOOKUPs to combine these together. And we don't need events. So let's um, let's start with our production logs and our orders. This is the ones that we're more interested in doing. Actually, let's start with orders. Okay, so in order to do uh, a pivot table, we're going to go to the insert menu and right to the very left, there's a pivot table. So what we're going to do is we're going to highlight this whole table. And you can either drag the rows involved, or I don't know if you know this, but at the very top left, if you just hit that, it just does the whole spreadsheet. So we're going to hit the pivot table, and it's going to confirm that this is the range of our table, which it is. And then we can either put it on our existing spreadsheet and we can tell it where to go, or we can put it in a new worksheet. I find it easier to work with it in a new worksheet. It's easier to dump it and start over or whatever. So it's automatically pulled all of our headings, all of our different data points here. So I might want to see what is the per salesperson, right? So right away it automatically picked up these are our 1, 2, 3, 4 salespeople that had sales in that particular data set. And now I want to not price per unit. I want order subtotal. That's the calculation, right? So if we were able to field settings, here you can do different things like you can average it out. You can, what's the max, what's the minimum? In this case, I want to go ahead and turn it into something that's more easily read. All right, so this shows that Diana made $145 million worth of sales in this period of time. Victoria had 131 million. These are great numbers. All right, but this isn't enough information. I want to do it also by date. So I can put in the columns the dates. So now in January, I can see Diana made 109 million, but in February she slumped off and only sold 36 million. I can see our grand total. It automatically calculates the total for both rows and columns, which is pretty handy. And if you had multiple years, it would actually give you the summary for each year. It'd break it out in that way. But you can see how just by moving certain things around, it's going to formulate this in a different way. Now I can also say I want not just the salesperson, but how much sales per customer for that salesperson. So here's Diana and all of her customers that made a sale or a purchase and how much that was worth in January and February. And maybe I don't care about um, the months anymore. Remove that, and now I can just kind of see the summarized total of that. Pretty cool stuff. Oh, here we go. Now I can see how much money they spent on each widget. So here, Wide Walk Wholesale didn't spend any money on widget number 1, only buys widget number 2 and 3. Interesting. This one only buys widgets 1 and 2. So you can kind of see how this can be super helpful and gather all kinds of really cool information. And you can also put graphs to it. Obviously, you want to play around with the different type of graph that you have. But here, it's taking the data from the pivot table to generate dynamic graphs. See the sales that they have in the different widgets. We got widget 1, 2, and 3. You can see graphically who is spending more on what widgets. Pretty cool. If I didn't care about the customer name, watch me remove that. And now you can see it just only by the salesperson. And similarly, customer name, remove the salesperson. Now I see the sales only by the customer. All right, let's go into production logs. See what we can get out of this. So again, we're going to highlight it, our columns. I'm going to go to Insert, Pivot Table. This is the right thing. I'm going to put it in a new worksheet. And we're going to go by date for the rows, quantity produced. Okay, since these are big numbers, I like to go into the field settings, go to the number, and then we can see, I don't care about that, but I do want to use the comma separator. There, that's a lot easier to look at. Okay, and then I can see by product code, January, February, March, how many widgets 1, widget 2, widget 3 was made. And instead of quantity produced, I can see what are the error rates. In this case, I just copied the same data over and over for the 3 months, so that's not helpful information. So let's get rid of that. Remove field. Produced. Lost my format. Number, get rid of that, but add the separator. So you can see how this is pretty helpful information. And again, I can then put graphs on this. So anyway, that is, in a nutshell, how we do pivot tables. So hopefully that was good information for you. But thank you so much for joining. Be sure to join me for the next one.